everybody, and welcome to Mike Nurichlo Online, sharing my love for people, wine, food, and all things made passionately. Okay, another shotgun episode today. I'm doing a shotgun wine from the winery who was just here in the previous episode, one that blew my socks off. Before I get started though, the evening after shooting the episode with Andy Johnson from Alvaro Creek, I had the privilege of hanging out with him and some of his crew at Salt Tasting Room, downtown Vancouver. Now, Salt Tasting Room, what a unique, cool, fun, unpretentious wine experience. If you haven't heard of Salt Tasting Room, you need to check it out. I have the link below the video. Make sure you click on it and see what they're all about. But Salt Tasting Room, it's a wine bar downtown. Did I say Gastown? It's in Gastown. Now, they've got this amazing wine list, just wicked wine selection. But what makes Salt unique is underneath Salt, and you walk down this wicked back alley to get there. But underneath Salt, they've got this amazing wine cellar, monster wine cellar, just encased in concrete room, right? Keeps the temperature nice and moderate for the wines, all that. But beside their wine cellar, they've got this monster long table. Now this table sits like 40 to 50 people. It's a super intimate experience where they'll bring wineries, different wines, cheeses, meats, all the food pairings out for you to hang out and just experience what some of the wineries and some of the food makers locally have to offer. Such a cool experience, such a great place to bring a group of friends, bring a date. You'll impress him or her, whoever you're trying to impress by bringing them there. But what a neat place. It's not that pricey. I think you're looking at, it's a little bit up there. It's somewhere like $40 a plate or something like that, but so worth it. You get like a 2-hour evening of just hanging out with people, learning more about wine, tasting through some stuff you probably never would have tasted. So hanging out with Alvaro Creek there, I had a blast. I was blown away by the wines that they're producing from Vancouver Island, as Andy educated us in the previous episode. But we tasted through their Pinot Gris, their Pinot Grigio, their Pinot Noir, their Privot, which we tasted in the episode, tasted the older vintages of the Privot at the tasting. Tasted their Gewürztraminer, which was awesome. Such a fun evening. They also do a Maréchal Foch, which Andy talks about in the episode as well. A lot of people underrate Maréchal Foch, and if you grow it right, it can do some pretty interesting things. So anyway, make sure you check out Salt Taste Room. Click the link below the video. Okay, on to my shotgun episode for Alvaro Creek. This is their 2009 Gewürztraminer. Now, if you remember 2009 around here, if you're from around here, it was a great growing year. Had lots of good heat units, all this and everything. The reds in the Okanagan do really well from 2009. The whites from cooler areas like Vancouver Island are going to do really well. Now, Vancouver Island, it is a slightly cooler climate, but it's more moderate, right? It's not the crazy swinging temperature extremes that the Okanagan has. When you're growing wine on Vancouver Island, you have to choose varieties, like Andy's done, that do well in cooler climates. Say Pinot Noir, Gewürztraminer, Maréchal Foch, all those sort of varieties that do well in that climate. Now, Gewürztraminer is an earlier ripening grape variety, so it can withstand, it's ready to pick before winter hits, before frost hits, so it's good to go. It's a German grape variety, it's a hardier grape variety, it can survive a lot of things. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of Gewürztraminer. Gewürztraminer meaning the spicy grape in German. Typically you'll find like a finish of a hint of ginger, things like that. Pairs so well with your Indian food, your Asian food, your Thai food, that kind of thing. But this wine really impressed me when I was there tasting with them. I was super excited about it. So we're going to taste it again for you. Now the thing with Gewürztraminer, and what I liked about this one, I'll continue to tell you about it as I taste it, but the thing with Gewürztraminer is typically it can be done on a sweeter level. And if you pay attention to like the 1, 2, 3 sweetness scale that you'll see at wine stores, I tend not to look at it that much because I find it kind of, misleading. Can be quite misleading. Anyway, typically Gewürz can be done at like a 0.5 or even up to a 1, which again, misleading, hard to say if it's really that high. Anyway, whole nother story. This one is done like a 0. It's a bone dry wine. And I'm super excited about that because it still gives off the amazing flavor profiles of Gewürz. Anyway, let's get into it. Okay, right off the nose. This is one that when you lift the glass to your nose, you just get excited. It's so perfumed. It's super aromatic. The aromatics are just leaping out of the glass. Very floral. A lot of like hints of rose petal in there. Tons of lychee. If you've tasted lychee before or smelt lychee, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Make sure you go out and try lychee because it's a huge wine tasting note. I almost get a little bit of like hint of banana or something on it too. This wine excites me. Everybody likes Gewürz. I love Gewürz. It's such a great food wine. But because this one's so dry, with a beautiful acidity, it works well with food. Let's taste it. Here we go. It's bone dry, but so full of flavor. I think sometimes you have extra sugar to mimic that flavor you're looking for. This hints at sweetness, but not because it's sweet. It hints at sweetness because the flavors are so prevalent. Right across the palate, my whole palate is satisfied, and the finish is still going. It's got this great kind of limey / starfruit kind of finish on it. Just nice and not overly tart, not puckery tart, but nice and clean and tart. Totally tastes like the lychee. A nice hint of like tropical, almost like papaya or something. But again, dry and beautiful acidity. But hold up so well with food. Again, look for your Indian food, your Asian foods, your Thai foods, things like that. Spicy foods, this goes so well with spicy food. Red wine typically doesn't work with spicy foods. Whites, like Gewurz, rock with spicy foods. This German varieties, Ehrenfelser, Gewürztraminer, even Pinot Blanc can do really well with spicy foods. Not necessarily a German grape variety. Super excited about this wine. I believe it's about a $20 wine. Again, I'll have the number below the video for you. You know what? I'm going to go ahead, through the Gewürzes I've tasted, I think this one deserves, it's a great wine. Look for it. If they don't sell out of it, I think they're going to have a hard time hanging on to it once people start tasting it. I'm going to have to go ahead and give this 90.5 points. It's a pretty high rating for me. But I'm going to go ahead and say 90.5 points. I think it's that good. It's a worthwhile wine. Seek it out. Look for Avenel Creek. I'm impressed with what they're making. They're making some neat wines. So, thank you so much for watching today. And remember, wine, depretentious-sized. We'll see you on the next episode.